Hi, I'm Jeff Ajik, and this is my latest episode of my Ramblings of a Continuous Improvement Coach. And in this episode, I want to talk about something that's called habit stacking. So I heard about this a long time ago, and just kind of in the course of my studies and focus on learning, I came across it again. And it's one of those concepts that is just elegant in its simplicity. So the simple premise behind it is that you use existing habits to reinforce the building of new habits. So let's say there's something like you want to start reading books more and you want to have, you have a book and you want to be able to work your way through it. Sometimes it's hard to kind of sit down, pick the book up, go find it, sit down on the couch, get the light, the lighting set for if you have old eyes like me, and find your reading glasses, all those kind of things. Maybe takes a little bit of effort. So it's really easy to not do it. But instead of creating, trying to create a habit from scratch, you can either every morning when you get up and you make your bed, you lay your book on your pillow so that every night when you come down there, the book is laying right there. And if you need reading glasses, you put your reading glasses with the book. That's a little habit you have. And then when you go to bed, the book is already there. So it's something that is linked to what you already do. So if you are in a habit of making your bed every day, you add this to the making your bed. Or if you have to pick your kids up from school, you make a habit of you keep your book by your coffee maker. And when you fill up your little coffee thermos, you bring your book with you into the car and you read for 5 minutes every day while you're waiting for the kids to come out. Or you go 5 minutes early to make it 10 minutes. You do something to create that habit, but you link it to something that's already in existence. And it's not really all that hard to do this. You can kind of go through this and find lots of things that you do. What I started doing a little while ago, every morning when I make my coffee, I have a little latte maker and it kind of spins up. It's a little frother. And while it's doing that, I empty the dishwasher. So now it's a habit. To go in the kitchen and empty the dishwasher. So, it's a chore. It takes a little bit of effort to make that a good habit. But now I link it to something else that I'm doing all the time. I have this, there's a whole theory about getting the cue and the reinforcement and the rewards. And, there's a whole theory that goes into this about how habits become habits. But when you have one habit that's well established that you seldom deviate from, it's easier to link something new to it. So continuous improvement can have similar things. So, I like to focus all these episodes on specific things about continuous improvement. And let's say you're already doing safety checks on your equipment, and that is something that's well established. You're doing it all the time. Now you want to do 5S audits also. It would be hard to just start a whole new audit, but if you link the 5S audit to your safety checks, you now have something that you're already doing regularly. You're already doing it habitually as a habit. It's something that happens all the time without fail. Now you have something else linked to it. So you'll be more likely to be successful at your 5S audits if you're already doing safety audits and you can link them together. If you're posting your KPI data on a production board weekly, now you can add a training poster next to it. So if you want to be able to kind of have, we have these passive learning, basically they're posters, but they're with a specific lesson associated with it rather than just like inspirational. So they're kind of like a learning point, and you could take those and post those next to your KPIs every time you do that. So instead of having to create a whole new training plan, you link it to something that's already in existence. Or, if you are in the habit of taking a walk after lunch, in your lunch hour, you could start listening to continuous improvement podcasts along the way, or, listen to them on your car ride home. So you're already doing something and you link something to it. It's called habit stacking. And then you can link something to the thing that you link to it and link something to that. So eventually you can have a whole bunch of habits all together. And again, you're going to overwhelm yourself at some point, but you keep doing it until you find that you're not successful with the extra habits that you're stacking on. But now you've had a bunch of things that you've already added. Again, something like, for continuous improvement, if you are at stand-up meetings every morning, you can make an immediate action item list after for any problems that were addressed. So instead of trying to remember it later, you get in the habit of, when you go to get your agenda for your stand-up meeting, you also put in a little card where you have a space to write down your notes on it. So you pre-print them and you have a little note card ready to go with your list for your agenda. And you start stacking those things in, or, you make a habit of every day at lunchtime, you pull out your card, you put it with your lunch and a card that you make personnel notes. So anything that happened today, this morning, or at the end of the day, you have a little card where instead of trying to remember everything at evaluation time, you can kind of make ongoing notes on a regular basis. So you're not, you're creating a habit that makes you more effective. And You can even think about how you would do this in a personal. You already talked about reading more, but let's say you want to get fit. Maybe what you do is every morning after your shower, you take your workout clothes for the afternoon and you put them all together and you lay them on your bed on top of your remote control so that you know that before you watch TV, you need to do your workout. So it's something that you would do that every day after you take your shower and you link that to your shower. But then you have a visual cue to do something later in the day. And it's a lot harder to kind of not do your workout if you already have everything lined up there and you've already got yourself in that mental mode. So the whole idea here is you take something that's already existing. And I'm not like an expert on the biology behind it, but in kind of researching it a little bit, there's a biological function called synaptic pruning. So babies are born with a lot more synapses in their head that are firing, that are active than adults are. And your body just can't keep up that energy. So what happens over time is the stuff that you get good at, the things that you focus on, the things that you put your energy into, those synapses in your brain start to reinforce. And the ones that you don't use, they tend to kind of atrophy a little bit. So now if you have a very dense spot of your synapses that are firing, when you stack a habit, you link it to that active part of your brain. So it's like I said, I'm not an expert on this when I don't know all about the neurology behind it and all of that. So I might have this a little bit off. But the whole point is that there is actually a biological backing for the idea behind habit stacking. So if you're good at something and you regularly do it, you're more likely to be able to link something to it. And the idea behind it is that it's easier to add a habit to something that you're already doing than to create one from scratch. And it's really great for leveraging your successes rather than trying to create something new. So I encourage you to think about a couple things. Maybe today you go and find one thing that you can link a habit to that you're already doing regularly and link a habit to that so you can be successful at one more thing. And that's the whole point of continuous improvement. So that's all I got for this one. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my ramblings of a continuous improvement coach. And until next time, best luck on your continuous improvement journey.